What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
From the mind of a 2-foot-tall talking spokes puppet comes this year's biggest challenge. It's time for Bob's Dare to Compare, the hottest game show on TV that asks, what happens when you compare Bob's to the competition? You get style. You get quality. You get beeps and boops and dings and whomps. And thousands of dollars in savings. Everyone's a winner when you dare to compare with Bob's Discount Furniture. Shop in store or at mybobs.com to play now.
We all belong outside. We're drawn to nature, whether it's the recorded sounds of the ocean we doze off to, or the succulents that adorn our homes. Nature makes all of our lives, well, better. Despite all this, we often go about our busy lives removed from it. But the outdoors is closer than we realize. With AllTrails, you can discover trails nearby and explore confidently. With offline maps and on-trail navigation, download the free app today and make the most of your summer with AllTrails.
Stand by for action.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show, starring Bob Lutz.
I've been to Vegas 4 times in my life. The last time I went, I took $800. At the end of night 1, I had $50 left. I went to work and created a bundle of cash. You hawk your watch to get out of Vegas.
Hawk your watch?
You lose everything.
Jeff Lutz.
I don't know what that means. Somebody explain that to me. Somebody born in the 30s. I mean, I'll give you what I know, but I don't know much.
And Jason Duda. For today, anyway.
Let's get to Jason Duda, who's in Las Vegas.
I'm not going to lie to you. I'm sitting with a cocktail.
Woohoo! This is so proud of my drunkenness. What a look.
I'm not drunk yet.
Joe. 97.5 and 1240 KFH.
Only the best for your special playtime.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Tuesday edition, the Bob and Jeff Show, KFH Radio, joined today by Jason Duda, who comprises a 3-man booth the day after Labor Day. All the holidays are over now. School's in session. Soccer's going.
What you talking about? We got Thanksgiving in 2.5 months.
Yeah, but that's way down the road. I need your full cooperation and concentration now.
What is your deal?
For what?
I don't know.
What's going on?
Why not just show up and do a good show?
It just started.
We hadn't even said a word yet, and you're spouting off.
Well, I just have a feeling neither of you are really present.
All right, we can leave.
And I'm not going to do this on my own.
If we're already not present, do we need to be here?
No.
By the way, Jeff with the win in the picks.
Not
Duda
a surprise.
Second, Max third, the big fella fourth. I had a terrible week, but I don't really pay attention till Thanksgiving anyway.
Exactly.
You want to know what kept You want to know what kept our friend Jason Duda from winning the picks?
What?
Who'd he pick for 6?
Lindenwood.
Pretty bad.
0.5. Lost by half a point.
Yeah, but you still lost.
Yeah, I know I did.
And
I know.
your
But you can't tell me that was
your record on KU games is just awful.
It's trending in the right direction.
What's the strategy on KU this year?
There is no strategy yet. I didn't even see the game, so I was just picking random numbers. I wouldn't have picked them for 6, but I only had 6 and 7 left. At least I didn't pick them for 7. See, that's how I looked at it.
Yeah, you did go as low as you possibly could, I guess.
I did. That's all that was available to me.
Beautiful.
So it is what it is.
Anyway, week 1, not good. And Jeff just threw darts.
No, I didn't.
Doesn't mean anything.
Those 8 and 7 were so obvious. I mean, Florida lost everything. Yeah. Miami got really good players in the transfer portal. And Clemson was never going to hang with Georgia.
No.
Those were gifts, as Jason Duda likes to say.
They were gifts. I took Georgia for 8.
Well,
that was the easiest. I was just going to go up the ladder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 when we were picking. And then you hit Georgia on like the 4th game, and I was like, well, that's a no-brainer.
The worst picks that I made were Florida And as it turns out, West Virginia. West Virginia, answer the bell. You're at home. I know Penn State's pretty good, but come on.
They got crushed.
Destroyed.
And Stanford beat TCU.
Well, you guys both picked West Virginia, too.
Well, you convinced me.
For more points than I did.
I'm never picking West Virginia ever again.
You're playing. Oh, really?
That West Virginia is my KU.
The A&M pick was terrible. You're the only one that picked Notre Dame.
Another easy one.
That was a lucky pick.
No, it wasn't. Notre Dame was always going to win that game. They're ranked in the top 10. Texas A&M was not even ranked, and they have a new coach. I mean, this is easy.
Well, the picks will be different this week. It's not as good a college week, although our two in-state schools play very interesting games, both on the road. K-State in New Orleans to face Tulane. KU on the road in Champaign to face Illinois. I think both of those games are highly intriguing.
Why does K-State, I get it's like they did the home and home, they play a bunch, but you really need to go to Tulane?
Tulane's a good team.
But that's an American
good program.
Fine, you don't need to play at Tulane.
Well, sure you do.
Why?
Because it's a home and home.
It's pointless.
What do you mean it's pointless?
It's pointless.
It's a great game for them. Go on the road. Let's see what we can do.
Feels like a trap game to me.
Don't you like to take your team on the road after week one, give them a test, see what happens?
Well, I don't see why it's a big deal. I mean,
I wouldn't do it.
Why?
Well,
why not?
You're one scared of everything.
Does Alabama play road games against AAC schools? No.
You run scared against everything.
What's the standard? I'm not scared. I just think it's dumb.
I don't see it being dumb. Why not go down and get a good win?
Maybe they will, and it'll be an okay win. I think they're favored by over a touchdown. I'm not sure how good Tulane is. I just think the idea of playing a lesser school on the road, KU at a Power 4 opponent in Illinois, I'm fine with that. But going to Tulane, that's just
it's not. They're
foolish.
not going to Tulane. They're going to New Orleans. You are aware that Tulane's not a place; it's a university.
They're going to Tulane. Though I assume that game will be played somewhat approximate.
Have you ever heard of
to the
blithering
Tulane campus?
A guy that can't get a word out?
It's unusual that it's him.
So if I say
I don't even know what to say.
So if I say a team's playing at Florida State, I have to say they're playing at Tallahassee?
Sure.
I have to say the city now?
I disagree with that. I agree with Jeff
thank
on
you.
that.
Well, of course you would.
Well, I'm not going to say, yeah, they're going to Tallahassee to play. No, they're going to Florida State.
Well, that's because you don't know where Tulane is.
It's in New Orleans.
Well, because
I just went over that. Plus, yeah, I've known that because we've talked about it on this show multiple times. You go to Tulane in order to go to New Orleans.
So you do
I
learn.
probably knew more about New Orleans, thinking that Tulane was just an offset place because you wanted to go and party there. That
you do learn on this show. Then
learn what?
I think he already knew.
I already knew that.
Dude is an avid sports watcher. I think he picks some things up every now and then.
Not a lot, but yeah.
They seep into his brain almost involuntarily.
Where's Rutgers?
I don't know.
New Jersey.
It's up northeast.
Where in New Jersey?
Rutgers.
Well, what's the difference up northeast? It's Rutgers University. Who cares if you know exactly where it's at?
Well, I'm just
What's
asking.
the difference?
You guys are thinking you're
talking
pretty
about their
smart.
football team.
Neither of you know
Talking
where
about the
Rutgers
Where is
is.
Rutgers then?
I'll tell you in a minute.
Oh, tell me now.
Yeah.
Piscataway, New Jersey.
Hey,
Sure about that?
He just looked it up. Didn't you see it?
No, I didn't look
Just
it up.
literally
It's in
looked
New
it up.
Brunswick.
It's right there by Piscataway.
Sure it
matter.
is.
It's not Piscataway.
Of course it is.
No, it's not. You can't take the victory on that.
Ohio State is not going to New Brunswick. They're going to Rutgers.
Well,
Assuming that game is played. I don't know if it is.
anyway, very intriguing games for the Wildcats and Jayhawks, who took care of business. I don't know. I don't know what to think of it.
Well, there's scrimmages. Let's be honest. Those were scrimmage games.
Dylan Edwards had a really nice, dynamic second half in the K-State win. But I don't know what you take from it.
Well, that backfield should be really good.
This week we'll take something from it.
Avery threw a pick. I think, do you have 2 touchdowns?
Yeah,
maybe?
It wasn't great. Now,
That's a good game for
the
him to
issue
get his feet under.
becomes, I have DirecTV. Do you?
No.
Who do you have?
YouTube.
I'm thinking about going that way because
Shouldn't.
DirecTV's having a conflict with Disney.
Shouldn't.
See, we got Hulu and ESPN Plus, so I can get most of those. I can get.
Why shouldn't I go YouTube TV?
If you get a Roku smart TV, you'll
but
be
I
so
need to
happy.
get 3 of them.
No, whatever. Why?
Because I got 3 places I watch television.
Well, fine. Get 3 of them.
Get
If
3
I
of
go
them.
to YouTube TV, I get them on all 3.
Yeah.
Well, go for it then. How you going to watch baseball?
I don't know. What do I do?
That's not. I don't know. That's not my.
Does MLB have an app on these TVs?
On Roku smart TVs? Absolutely. So easy.
There's got to be a way. I mean, there's no way they're.
I don't know why anyone doesn't have a Roku smart TV.
Well, I'm going to go to the people at Hefner.
You get Sling for $55 a month. It has every channel.
Well, I got every streaming channel. I'm spending upwards of $1,000 a month, I'm sure.
I doubt
But
it.
as I've said on this show,
You
I
can't.
got plenty of money.
Yeah,
We
it's
can
no-
tell by
no
the
big
shirt
deal.
you're wearing.
No big deal.
What's wrong with this shirt?
Nothing. It's very classy.
Is there something wrong with this shirt?
I don't know. I didn't think so, but
What's wrong with
Nothing.
it?
It's
maybe I'm
great.
missing
No,
something.
tell me.
Are you wearing it? Yeah, I guess it's. Yeah, I don't know.
What?
What are you?
Thought you might be wearing it
I want to know this
inside out.
answer.
Not wearing it
Not
inside out.
out.
No, I thought the buttons were on the wrong
Mr.
side, but
T-shirt.
they're good. Yeah, this is a nice T-shirt. I got my K-State shirt on.
My gosh. Here's what we have for you on the show today. Looks like little Misty Louise needs to go upstairs. We'll take care of that in a moment.
About 10 minutes.
Jaylon Thompson from the Kansas City Star will join us at 2:25. I thought for sure the Royals were on an unbeatable path.
Unbeatable?
And they've been beaten a few times of late.
Who's unbeatable?
I thought they looked like the team.
Why?
Because I told you a million times. And they'll still beat Cleveland.
They will?
Yeah, they'll beat them tonight like a drum.
Interesting.
At 2:45, Darren Fisher, head football coach at Goddard Eisenhower. Duda headed out to a JV soccer game after the show today. Goddard Eisenhower at Mays.
True. First tilt high school.
How excited are you?
I'm kind of excited to go see it. I am. So we'll go check it out.
Then you got a fantasy draft to get home
Yeah,
to.
so as soon as that final
Big
whistle
night.
blows, it'll be the fastest I'll have run off of stands in a long time.
What position's Jackson playing?
Plays a wing.
Wing guy.
Wing guy. Yeah,
Kind
that's
of like dudes
Yep. Same thing.
back in the day.
Do they kick in the ball and what? Then what?
Well, then you run a lot.
With the ball.
Try to get the ball as close
and
to
then
the
try
goal
get
as
the ball
possible.
into the middle.
And
And then
Does he ever go into the middle?
Sometimes. I don't know. This is going to be
Why
all
do they call him
new.
a wing if he's going into the middle?
It's all new. It's totally different now.
Wing
so I'm
score.
going to go see.
Be quiet, Jeff.
dudes went into
Let me
the
have
middle.
my
Stop.
interaction.
Wing
Yeah,
with
but
stop.
you're doing a bad job of it.
Yeah, it is a little weak. You could do better.
You know what I'm worried about? You always say I'm worried about the Royals. You know what I'm worried about? The desperation it must take to trade for Yuli Gurriel, and he gets hurt in his second game. I'm not making light of that.
What do you
Not
mean you're worried
celebrating it.
about it?
I'm not worried about it. That's the Royals.
Oh, now he's feeling cocky.
Reek of desperation. Let's go get Robbie Grossman.
Now
Are you
he's
kidding
feeling
me?
cocky.
Let's Tommy Pham, Paul DeYoung, both in our lineup in a game that really matters.
Now he's feeling cocky.
Oh,
Isn't it something, the transformation?
Oh, the roller coaster. How many
One
times
guy
have I
gets
said
hurt.
it?
One guy gets hurt, and we scrape the bottom of the barrel.
And just last week you were lamenting the fact that your team never did anything.
Well, I'd rather have nothing than Robbie Grossman. Is that cool?
Not really, because it goes against everything you were saying.
I wanted them to call up guys, not act in desperation, which is what the Royals are doing. Just, please, come.
Tommy Pham's
please.
not desperation.
Yes,
he's
he
a
is.
good
He's
player.
cooked.
No, he's not.
He's not any good.
He's as good as anything you got.
Oh, didn't seem like it yesterday.
Well, you know what? I sent you a nice text. I wish I could
Was
take
it nice? Congrats.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Well, what'd you send him, dudes?
Nothing. And I won't do it tonight either.
Why not?
I'm busy.
What's wrong with congrats?
I was in attendance yesterday. Nothing's wrong with congrats.
Better than ignoring you.
I didn't feel like it was completely heartfelt, but it was fine.
Well, I was happy, but now I'm not.
Why?
Because I don't like the way
The Cardinals were in first, and the Cubs go get every player available off of waivers, and these guys who are past their prime. Yuli Gurriel, who hit 230.
Well, he's been hitting pretty well.
Hit 230 last year with the Marlins. You'd laugh too.
He'd hit pretty well with the Royals.
Well, he's had 2 games.
Exactly. He's had 2 games.
That's what they need. They're not
him,
looking for 160 out of the guy.
They only need him to play about 25.
Well, he got hurt rounding first base. So what does that tell you?
It's a mild hamstring. It looks like he's day-to-day.
Dude, when you're my age, which he is, and you pull a hammy, there's no day-to-day. I've never
pull a hammy.
I've never pulled a hammy.
He has a mild hamstring strain.
That's the same thing.
It is.
As pulling a hammy?
Yeah, you pull your hammy, you have a strain. That's pretty...
No, you pull the hammy. If a strain's not a pulled hamstring.
Yes, it is. That's why it's a strain.
Oh, my
you
God.
You pulled the hamstring.
You guys...
It's not like a grade 3 or a terrible, but it's a pulled hamstring.
You guys collectively make up a pretty substandard IQ.
This is always
unbelievable.
This is always what you go to when you're wrong.
You know you're wrong.
Go to the insults.
You know
it's not an insult. It's real.
No, it's not.
A mild hamstring strain versus a pulled hamstring is different.
No, it's not.
How is it different? So,
my God,
did he strain it? How did he
Dr.
strain
Rockley?
it? What happened if he's got a strain?
Because you pull the hamstring off the muscle with a pulled hamstring.
That's a torn hamstring.
That's a torn hamstring.
Right, a pulled hamstring.
No.
It's pulled off the muscle.
Good grief.
Don't you understand
You are
that?
struggling.
You're going to fight it. I know you are, and I appreciate it, but you are wrong.
And that's okay, but admit it.
You know what you two have?
Torn hamstring and a pulled hamstring.
You know what you have?
Day.
A pulled brain.
Yeah, well, it's been that way
seriously.
for a while. Well,
where's your brain located?
Where's your brain on this subject?
My God, I've been
Just
dealing with
straight
this stuff my entire
to the
life.
insults.
What?
It's straight to the
Unreal.
Let's
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
Google.
Google it.
I will.
Strained hamstring versus pulled hamstring. Do that.
I thought you said torn. You said pulled hamstring
No,
is
I said
off
pulled.
the bone, but that's a torn hamstring.
Pulled hamstring.
Okay, well,
that guy pulled his hamstring. He's done.
A hamstring strain can be a pull, a partial tear, or a complete tear. Muscle strains are graded according to their severity. A grade 1 strain is mild and
Who's
usually...
that, Dr. Ruth you're reading from? What website is that?
Ortho Info.
Ortho Info.
There you go.
They've been
a hamstring tear or strain, also called a pulled hamstring, is an injury to one of the back muscles in the back of the thigh.
They've been
That's
debunked.
from Mercy Health.
They've been debunked so many times.
They have. That's good.
You can't go to anywhere that doesn't debunk Mercy Health.
Really? That's
of course
funny.
not.
Seems like we're all in agreement. There's only one thing here that doesn't belong.
One guy on an island.
Wonder who that
refusing to sail
My
to
point
safety.
being, the Royals, I'm a little sorry they've faltered like this.
Oh, good.
But
it's unfortunate that you feel that way when your son needs.
You know what the Royals have
a
done
World
for League
Series.
42?
You know what the Guardians have done?
Nothing for
CC
League 42.
Sabathia.
He's not a Guardian.
He's in the Guardians Hall of Fame.
Oh, my God.
Which he left to come to Wichita.
And he said that if he goes into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, he'll have a Yankees cap.
When did he
on
say
the
that?
Plaque. He said that.
When?
Well, I don't know. Look it up. Look up.
You're just making
look
stuff up
Mercy
now.
Health.
Let's go back to the well. What's it tell us?
Of course, he's going to have a Yankees hat
Why?
because that's where he had his best years.
No, he had his best years winning a Cy Young in Cleveland.
Well, I don't believe that'll happen. I don't like him in a Cleveland hat. And by the way, if he goes in as a Cleveland person, does he put on the Indians hat or the Guardians hat?
He puts on the C hat. He did say that. That's garbage.
That's all it takes.
I'm done with him. Why did I even introduce myself to him?
There you go.
Oh, you did you?
You know what? I'm going to start a campaign against CC Sabathia for the Hall of Fame.
You just go right ahead.
I will.
One of the most genuine, nice
One
people.
of the biggest traitors you'll ever see.
Here he goes again.
He played longer with New York.
Who cares? We brought him up. We developed him. We got him to the big leagues at age 20. He won a Cy Young for us.
It does feel good when a player who has choices picks your team. I know I was very happy that Scott Rowland picked the Cardinals to put on his hat when he was inducted. Because he could have gone Phillies, no question. But he picked the Cardinals. Felt good. I liked it.
I get it.
Jim Thome picked us.
Well, that's fine.
Kenny Lofton should be in the Hall of Fame, probably would pick us.
But CC didn't.
Unfortunate.
All right, time for a break. When we come back, we will carry on this Royals conversation with Jaylon Thompson, beat writer from the Kansas City Star. Game 2 of the 3-game set against the Guardians tonight at Kauffman Stadium. Cleveland yesterday with a 4-2 win in game number 1. Now lead the Royals by 4.5 games, 3.5 up over Minnesota. Back in a moment, Jaylon Thompson.
What kind of programs does this school have? How are the test scores? How many kids do a classroom? Homes.com knows these are all things you ask when you're home shopping as a parent. That's why each listing on Homes.com includes extensive reports on local schools, including photos, parent reviews, test scores, student-teacher ratio, school rankings, and more. The information is from multiple trusted sources and curated by Homes.com's dedicated in-house research team. It's all so you can make the right decision for your family. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
From the mind of a 2-foot-tall talking spokes puppet comes this year's biggest challenge. It's time for Bob's Dare to Compare, the hottest game show on TV that asks, what happens when you compare Bob's to the competition? You get style. You get quality. You get beeps and boops and dings and whomps. And thousands of dollars in savings. Everyone's a winner when you dare to compare with Bob's Discount Furniture. Shop in store or at mybobs.com to play now.
We all belong outside. We're drawn to nature, whether it's the recorded sounds of the ocean we doze off to, or the succulents that adorn our homes. Nature makes all of our lives, well, better. Despite all this, we often go about our busy lives removed from it. But the outdoors is closer than we realize. With All Trails, you can discover trails nearby and explore confidently. With offline maps and on-trail navigation, download the free app today and make the most of your summer with All Trails.
Hey, fantasy football owners, I'm Matt Harmon.
And what's cracking? I'm James Coe. Join us on Reception Perception as we dive deep into wide receivers, the position that will make or break your fantasy team.
Follow and listen to Reception Perception on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is the Bob and Jeff Show.
Here's Jaylon Thompson from the Kansas City Star, their beat writer for the Kansas City Royals. Again, game 2 of that series against Cleveland tonight at the K. It'll be heard right here on KFH. Jaylon, welcome.
Hey, how you guys doing? You said 1969. That's when the Royals first started playing. Pretty crazy.
There you go. That is a long time ago. What's not a long time ago was last Wednesday, when the Royals were going for a sweep, game 2 of a doubleheader, had a 5-2 lead against Cleveland.
That was the 4th game of the series.
It looked like Cleveland was down and out. They came back and won that game. They've been playing much better since, and the Royals, the bottom has kind of fallen out. What's happened here?
Well, a lot of things have happened. You know, you see Vinny Pasquantino go down with an injury, right thumb injury. He says that he wants to come back, but it looks like his regular season's going to be over unless the Royals make the playoffs. The Royals also ran into a lot of strong pitching. I mean, you look at what the Guardians had in that series and then carrying over to what the Astros did those 4 games. It's it's just a rough patch right now. The Royals are trying to figure it out. Everyone is staying upbeat and positive. They believe that just focus on today, like their mindset has been all year, and things will turn around. But as you've seen, going out and getting veteran guys like Tommy Pham and Yuli Gurriel and Robbie Grossman, trying to fix whatever you kind of lost with Vinny going down, and also trying to stay afloat. That's kind of what it feels like right now. And, all was not lost. The Royals are still leading in the wild card spot over the Boston Red Sox. But they won the division, and, that's kind of slipping right now.
Do you see any, I don't know if failure might be a strong word, but do you see anything lacking in the Royals player development? Obviously, Bobby Witt, Salvador Perez, there have been several guys that have panned out that have gone through their system. But when they need to go to guys like Tommy Pham, the guys you mentioned, Robbie Grossman, Yuli Gurriel, Paul DeJong, down the stretch, does that say something about how the Royals are developing position players that they can't, promote within?
I don't think so. I think it's just those guys have had playoff experience. And, when you're in a playoff race for really the first time with the young core, you don't really know what it takes to really get there because you've never done it before. And as much as you can rely on a Will Smith, Chris Stratton, the guys they brought in, Michael Walker, Seth Lugo, Adam Frazier, and the like, you still need more. The team is so young. They're still just trying to do this thing. And, a lot of those guys, like I mentioned, those are like pitchers outside of, Frazier and whatnot. You got to have veterans on the position side as well that can help you get there. And I think it's nothing against what they've done. They got a lot of good young players in the system. You mentioned you've seen what Drew Waters can do up here, but he just hasn't panned out when you need him over the long haul. Same with Nick Prado. So those kind of guys, they still need time to develop at the major league level, and time is not what the Royals have right now. So you go get guys that have done it before, are doing it before, and you see what you can do.
Well, in your opinion, what is going to be either the Royals' downfall for the rest of this season, or what is going to spring them into the playoffs? Is it going to be offense, defense, pitching? Where are you at with that?
I think it's going to be offense. They have to score runs. You can't rely just on Bobby Witt Jr. and Salvador Perez. And you were relying on Vinny Pasquantino, but he's not there right now. He's injured, like you said. So it's got to be the offense. It's got to be someone other than those two guys at the top of the order. You got to have production throughout the whole lineup. Maybe that is a Paul DeJong that has shown he is very valuable when he plays consistently. Maybe it is Freddie Fermin getting more opportunities. Maybe one of Tommy Pham, Robbie Grossman, or Yuli Gurriel Sparks. But it's got to be someone else. You can't go into this playoff run with two guys. You got to have 5 or 6. That's how the good teams get it done. And the Royals just don't have that right now. I think the starting pitching will be fine. As you've seen, you see some good starts out of Seth Lugo. You see some good starts out of Michael Walker. They'll get Michael Lorenzen back. You've seen Cole Reagans and Brady Singer continue to do well. The bullpen, you got Lucas Ersteg. He'll be there. Can someone else step up there? But I think offense is the biggest question if the Royals are going to either make it or break it in this playoff run.
Talking with Jaylon Thompson, he covers the Royals for the Kansas City Star. So Pasquantino goes out, 97 RBIs taken out of that lineup. Protection for Bobby Witt. How do they protect Bobby Witt? Yesterday they moved Michael Massey to the 3-hole. They had Tommy Pham leading off. What are they going to do, in your opinion, Jaylon, to make sure that teams don't just pitch around Bobby Witt and make someone else in that lineup hurt you? Because when you had Witt and Pasquantino, really had to pick your poison.
Yeah, I think they're still trying to figure that out just at the present moment. You saw, like you said, you had Michael Massey be there. He's a great contact hitter. He's someone that can display some power when he gets a hold of one. But you need more. Maybe you leave Salvi in that 3 spot. Maybe you leave him there. And you maybe put a Paul DeJong behind him or MJ Melendez. Tommy Pham is great at the top of the lineup, as we've seen. He had 2 hits in Houston, and yesterday the team only had 2 hits in general. So, can't really count yesterday's game. But I think you have to just fuel Bobby Witt Jr. and insulate him with guys that can get on base, guys that can get in scoring position. Maybe you do it from the bottom up. Maybe you put a speedster at the bottom of the lineup, and then you have 2 guys on when Bobby comes up. It's just different ways you have to attack it, but they have to figure it out.
What would be your order, presuming that Kansas City plays in a best-of-3 wild card series? What would be your order? And I don't mean to lead you in any particular direction for how the pitching would go, but Michael Wacha is the only starter they have who has started a postseason game. Do you think they would take that into account when they're deciding maybe between him and Singer?
Yeah. I think if you're looking at a 3-game lineup, you have to go with who got you there. So I would say you start off with maybe Seth Lugo. You know, he's a veteran. He's been there before. He's been your best pitcher all year. Then maybe you throw in Cole Reagans and or Wacha. I think Wacha has to be one of those guys you pitch in that 3-game series because of the experience that he brings. I don't necessarily know the order of where they would want to do it, but I believe one of Lugo, Reagans, and Wacha has to be it. And Singer has been great, but remember that he will also be his first playoff experience. I don't know if they will want to throw him out there in that high stakes that early, but he definitely can do it, and I wouldn't be shocked if he was one of the guys they put up in there.
Well, and you talk a 3-game. If you're getting 3 guys there, but if you're in a 1-game playoff, which guys are you going to throw out there? I mean, you got Lugo. You could throw out Reagans, but do you go with the guy with the most experience, or do you go with somebody else?
If it was me, I would probably go Seth Lugo, only because he has shown that he can be dynamite. He has so many different pitches that he can use to counteract whatever an offense will throw at him. And if you need to win a game, you go with him because you know he's going to give you quality starts. And then from there, it's all hands on deck. Maybe you'd see all 3 of the starters, 4 of the starters, if there's a 1-game scenario where you have to win. But I would go Seth Lugo because he's just been the most consistent this year, and you know that he's going to keep you in the game.
All right, we're talking with Jaylon Thompson. I'll go back to what Jeff asked, and I agree with you. It's better to have players who are a little bit experienced with this kind of a push in September. But I think the larger point would be, how sustainable is this Royals team? They've had a lot of things go right. Now, lately, not so much. They've been bitten by the injury bug, but their free agents have worked out. Their trades have worked out. That's certainly not something that happens all the time. So when we get to 2025, how important is it to supplement this lineup with maybe some younger players? How much do you believe this pitching, which has been so good this year, can hold up over the next season or 2?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and I agree with you. I think looking forward to 2025, everyone's going to get a year older. So you're going to, those veterans that you're leaning on now are going to be a year older. And are they still going to be here? Like you said, you got to have some young guys that step up. I think that the young core of Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino, MJ Melendez, and the like are all going to be where you need them to be. Michael Massey, and that makes Michael Garcia. But they still have to continue to take steps. Like this, no one expected the Royals to be where they are right now outside of the clubhouse. This team has vastly overachieved. I mean, that's just, if we were calling it straight, they've overachieved. They've exceeded expectations. Now it's just, can they take the next step forward in 2025? Because while you snuck up on some teams this year, probably being just how great you are and how competitive that they've been, next year that won't be the case. They know the Royals are coming. They know what the Royals have. So like you said, you have to add in some guys from the minor leagues. Who's going to take that next step? Is it going to be, does Drew Waters take that next step? Like we mentioned him. Is it someone in the minor league system as a pitcher? Do they come up? Do they view Jack Caglione as the next guy that continues to work well in the minor leagues next year, and if he comes up in 2026? These are things you got to look at. But they're in a good spot, I believe, and I think that it's just all about how can we get better one day at a time, one step at a time, and that's what they believe.
So this is kind of a question just out of curiosity, because I was at the game yesterday, and while I am a Cleveland fan, I was really excited as a baseball fan to get to see Emmanuel Clase against Bobby Witt, and then 2 batters later against Salvador Perez, kind of with the game on the line. Have those guys talked about what it's like to face Clase, especially in those type of situations?
Yeah, they live for those matchups. You know, it's good on good. It's best on best. I think they relish the opportunity to play some of the best guys in the league. And Clase has just really nasty stuff. I believe he's only given like 4 runs this year, I believe. I mean, he's really great coming out the bullpen. And the Royals, they've had success against him in previous years, but this year he's just been dominant. And I think that when you're in those situations, you only can learn from those situations. Because every time you see him, every time that you see what he brings to the table, you are able to get a better picture of what you can do to counteract that. So I think for Bobby, for Salvi, and those guys, yeah, they might have got beat last night, but if they get in that situation again, as Bobby's shown when he did last year, hit that grand slam against Duran, against the Twins, who also throws 100 miles per hour, he can definitely change the tide of the game.
All right, Jaylon, that question, by the way, was asked by my son, a devout Guardians fan,
I told him that.
only to get you to sing the praises of Emmanuel Clase. You could have very easily declined to answer, and I would have been in your corner.
Not true, Jaylon. I was genuinely curious, but thank you anyway.
Yeah, for sure.
Jaylon, we appreciate your time as always. Thank you, and we'll get with you as the postseason approaches.
Perfect. Thank you guys for having me on. I always love chatting with you guys. I really appreciate it.
We love it too. Thank you, Jaylon.
Thank you guys.
Jaylon Thompson from the Kansas City Star. You got that. I mean, you.
Well, how didn't you? It's always like that, though.
There are 2 things,
and I don't blame them. I mean, why not take a shot when you can?
I mean,
right?
that's electric though. When you're in the stadium and it's Clase against Witt, I mean, you can't ask for anything better. There were 2 things I wanted to see yesterday, which was a John Kinsey Noel home run. Didn't get that, but we got Lane Thomas's first homer as a guard,
which was a shock to everybody.
He's been hitting well.
What?
He has.
Wasn't when he first got there.
He's been hitting pretty well for about 2 weeks now. And I wanted to see Clase pitch with the lead. I don't think I've ever seen him pitch before. That was pretty amazing.
Good for you. We're all pretty happy for you.
Thank you.
Duda is, for sure.
Of course I am.
Of course you are.
Yeah, why wouldn't I be?
How you work. It's everybody against Bob today. That's okay.
As it should be.
I'll meet the challenge. From 1967, Darren Fisher joins us on the IHOP hotline, the head football coach at Goddard Eisenhower. They open their 2024 season Thursday night at home against Valley Center, coming off a season in which they reached the semifinals of the Class 5A playoffs, lost to Cape and Mount Carmel. Darren, welcome. How are you?
I'm doing well. Exciting. We got some good weather, and football's right around the corner, so I'm doing good.
So do you feel like you are at the point now, because high school football is based so much on tradition and years of success. Do you feel like you're at that point with Eisenhower where the success has been around long enough that you can kind of tout your tradition?
You know, I mean, we do pride ourselves on building a culture and starting a culture when I took over, and that was one thing that we wanted to do here was create traditions, and we really wanted to, you know, set a standard for guys that, hey, we want to win here, and we want to win consistently, and we want to win league titles, and we want to hang banners. You know, and I think it's always a work in progress. I don't think you ever think that you've made it or success is always going to come. I think each year brings new challenges, but you know, we set the standard of, hey, we're here to win football games.
Yeah, did last year when you made, I believe, the Final Four, is that correct?
Correct.
Yeah, so does that feel like a jumping off point? Do you feel like there's more work to be done? Do you feel like it's more of a rebuilding year? I know you've got your quarterback back, your best receiver, and some other pieces. So what's the kind of the mentality going into this year?
You know, is polish. You know, there's some certain things we watched through some of the games. You know, some different.
We lost him.
I don't know what happened. That's not my fault, certainly.
Well,
who said it was?
Nobody said it was your fault.
Good grief. Is that what you go to immediately?
Right away. Come on.
No one thought that. Relax, man.
Max didn't do it on purpose. Maybe his cell phone went down. It just happens.
The way Jeff was looking at me.
I don't think I was.
What way? I gotta stick up for him again because he's you're all over him, but it really wasn't nothing he did.
I'm not all over him. He just looked at me like, "What'd you do?"
Duda is speaking truth today.
Well, because he's on your side on every matter.
No, I believe he's speaking truth.
Here's Darren Fisher. Darren, we lost you.
I'm sorry, guys.
You were talking about tradition and where Eisenhower is at this point in time.
Yeah, we want to play to the strength of our players, but we don't want to do too much where we're overhauling, and I think that's the art of coaching. Is how do I put some plays in and have some designs that can give guys success. And each year it's different. And that's why I think, the good coaches, they'll have little wrinkles. They look just a little bit different and stuff to play to their guys' strength. And so, that's what we try to really look at is can we best suit this kid that we feel like is our good player, and how can we make him successful and make our team successful?
Well, and obviously with turnover, with players and that sort of thing, do you find yourself going back to plays that you've had before? Do you stay with what you have, or do you kind of structure these plays and to the players that you have? Because it's got to be different.
Well,
now that's Duda's fault.
Of course. Why wouldn't it be?
For that question, Darren said, "I'm leaving." He'll be back.
Will he? Do we? Okay.
Well, I want to talk to him.
We give a guy a third chance?
Sure we do.
It's weird because it's not like he's breaking up or cutting out.
No, and that's what I don't understand. I don't understand.
He's just dropping us.
No, I don't think he's dropping us.
His phone is dropping us.
Well, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. We're going to give him 3 strikes. He's liable to hit one out of the park the next time we get him back.
You never know. He could.
We look forward to it. Max will let me know when we have him, and we'll move on.
Maybe he'll say to heck with it.
Well, that could
he might.
This isn't working.
Well,
I got to go to practice. I'm out.
What am I doing? I got other things.
There's a real possibility that Coach Fisher will boycott this show from here on out. And who could really blame him?
No, I'm sure other people have. It won't be the first, won't be the last.
Here is Darren Fisher.
What was your question again,
Head
dude?
football coach at Goddard Eisenhower. And
with all the turnover,
we're going to make this work.
With all the turnover, coach, and different players and your plays that you have, do you try to structure your plays more to the players aspect, or do you try to keep things the same way that you've always done it?
We keep it offensively and defensively. We try to keep the base and the main thing, and then we try to build answers off of that. Now, depending on a certain kid, there may be certain differences we make with, hey, this kid, we may have to hold the double team longer versus where we have a kid who, hey, this guy can take him as a solo block. And, maybe this kid reads it a little differently. We're going to make sure this play is designed where he's going to hit here versus where a running back before could read between 2 different holes. So, we try to make sure we have offenses and defenses where we have answers for kids to be successful and not saying, this is just what we do, and if you don't fit it, then you can't play here. So, each year we try to keep primarily the base things that we do, but we have different answers and different things to make it help new kids that are coming into the system.
What can you tell us about your quarterback and what he brings to the table? And you have your top receiver returning also, and that quarterback, of course, is Derek Morgan.
He's grown substantially. He had an amazing year last year, and it's little things that he's starting to pick up on. And
he's gone. See,
well, you guys, this clown show you're putting on.
Well, it's you, man. You're supposed to be directing this, and you're looking all around.
Well,
like,
I ask a question.
Somebody help me.
Then Duda ask a question.
Right, and then it's your turn.
I mean, I don't know what you want me to do.
You ask, I ask Duda. We go around in this little circle here.
Well, I had a great question lined up for him.
I think.
Should I get him back, Bob?
Maybe we try to get him on another time. At some point, it just looks amateurish.
Should I try him again?
Let's try to get Darren another time. Although, man, I'm very interested in that team. They started the year last year 7-0, 7-0. They lost the game at Goddard in their rivalry game.
Yeah.
Then they won 3 games. They got to the semifinals of the 5A playoffs. They were down 42-17 against Capon. They came back to make that 42-39. Remember that game? We were
Not
all
really.
following it, and I was on pins and needles. I really was.
Well, that's good.
I saw.
Man, this comeback is amazing.
You didn't think I knew what the quarterback's name was, did you?
No, I didn't. And you came up with it at the last minute.
What do you mean? I had that the whole time.
Well, then why didn't you mention it?
I wasn't scrolling around looking for it at all.
Of course you were.
But thought it was seamless.
Seamless.
That's what I had.
You know, Darren's a nice guy. I don't know him personally, but I wanted to ask him about that Goddard game, which is coming up in week 2 this year, their rivalry. I'm fascinated by Mays South, Andover Central, Goddard Eisenhower, where we have the 2 high schools in a community. That rivalry has always fascinated me. How do you feel about it, being a Mays guy? What do you think about Mays South?
Well, it's always fun to have a rivalry. I mean, it's the same thing with your baseball teams or your football teams. When you have a rivalry, it's more fun. The fans are involved. You always want to do better than that school. It's just, rivalries are great. Now that I'm in high school, and obviously with my son playing soccer, we look forward to the Mays South game because we've played with all those kids that are playing over there, and you've played against them. So, of course, it's way more fun, way more intense. It's great.
It'll be fun. You'll have a fun year.
Everybody's having a lot of fun.
Jackson will have some fun playing soccer. Never thought I'd put those words together, but he will.
Well, as soon as you get out there, now you can come watch a high school game.
Well, one of these 4:45 games, I'm going to go.
When you first said you were going to come out, he was in kindergarten.
Well, now it's, I'm more of a get to high school kind of guy.
Oh, that was it. Okay, well, that makes sense. I didn't realize you were going to wait 9 years, but that's okay.
I'm excited about the opening of high school football and soccer and whatever else is going on in high school sports. But football's always had that it's kind of special.
Kinda.
You hear me?
What are we talking about?
High school football.
My mind is elsewhere.
Mays opens at Goddard.
That'll be fun, right?
That'll be an interesting.
I don't know. I have no idea if that'll be fun. Maybe it will. Maybe it won't.
Well, you don't know high school football the way I do
yet. Name one player for Mays? Exactly.
Well, I don't know a player right now.
But
when
so
we
how
get
do we know
Gary
if they're
Guzman
good?
on, I'll have done the homework. I won't be scrambling around. How's your quarterback? And by the way, his name's Jaylon Morgan.
Derek Morgan,
whatever
you idiot.
I'll know his name going in without.
Well, I did. I had it in front of me, but you were supposed to ask the next question. Then I had to turn my phone back on.
It didn't go well.
I think I remember stuff like this.
It didn't go well for you.
No, not really.
Yeah, we all have rough days.
Do you have any players for Mays that you want to shout out?
Well, not for Mays. I'm not going to say I know everybody on the football team.
You shouldn't be expected to.
I didn't say everybody.
Jeff putting you on the spot.
I know I know a lot of the boys on the soccer team and obviously the tennis teams because those are the sports I go to watch.
Can you tell me who the quarterback is of Mays?
Why are you
I'm just
doing
asking.
What did I just tell you? No.
You said you don't know every player. I'm asking if you know one.
No, Jeff, I don't know any of them.
Fine.
That was all done to make
No, it
Jeff
wasn't.
feel
I don't
better.
either. But he has kids going there.
See, there it is.
I bet
I do.
I bet I could name some people from Andale last year.
I bet you couldn't.
Of course I could.
Name the quarterback this year.
Spexarth.
No, wrong.
Eck.
Yeah, you're just guessing.
It's just an embarrassment. See, I was on your side for most of the day, and then you go and do something like this.
Why'd you turn
you're
on
out.
Jason?
I didn't.
Now you're out.
But he's asking me like I'm giving him the third degree. All I asked is, do you know any players for Mays?
What did I ask? What did I
know.
ask him that? I don't know either.
I don't know.
I don't know.
You ask him if they run the same plays year to year.
Well,
Of course they tweak them.
No wonder he hung up.
But that's his philosophy. He's going to run the same. Basically, you're going to.
But he
do
said,
the
like
stuff
he
that
said,
makes you successful.
but like he said, they don't run. They have to change some things up.
Well, sure,
for the players,
Duh.
and that's where I was going with it.
Well, of course they got to change some things up.
Well, then, so they don't run the exact same thing all the time.
But didn't you know that going in?
Not really. Some coaches, no, you run it this way or else you're done.
Find a coach like that.
Well, growing up, Bob, when we were in, did they do everything that you wanted, or did they say, no, this is the way we're doing it, and figure it out? A lot of coaches did that. They didn't just say, Bobby, good for you. Oh, you want to do something else? We'll change everything up for the rest of the team so you can feel more comfortable.
It's a mix. You got to adapt.
How it works. Just don't even get involved in that. You'll lose this conversation.
No, you adapt.
And you don't
He's
lose
lost
many
every
to me.
conversation today.
All coaches adapt. They have a core belief, but if they're not going to do the same exact thing year to year. My goodness, you two.
Yeah, it's got to be us.
I'm going to talk to Tony.
It's got to be us.
Can't be you.
No.
Let's take a break.
Oh, we need one.
We've got an hour left. We got a game coming up in hour number 2.
I didn't know Duda was going to be here, but it can be.
You want him to do password?
It can be a 2-person game.
Well, we'll do one, and I'll throw my 2 bits in. I want to see.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, you hammer Bob with it, and then I'll throw my 2 bits in.
You can be a bystander with a microphone.
I love it.
It's a competition game. It'll be fine. I just figured Max would be playing, but you'll play. No offense, Max.
Max, erase the last 20 minutes from history. We'll be back.
You don't just live in your home. You live in your neighborhood as well. So when you're shopping for a home, you want to know as much about the area around it as possible. Luckily, Homes.com has got you covered. Each listing features a comprehensive neighborhood guide from local experts. Everything you'd ever want to know about a neighborhood, including the number of homes for sale, transportation, local amenities, cultural attractions, unique qualities, and even things like median lot size and a noise score. Homes.com. We've done your homework.
From the mind of a 2-foot-tall talking spokes puppet comes this year's biggest challenge. It's time for Bob's Dare to Compare, the hottest game show on TV that asks, what happens when you compare Bob's to the competition? You get style. You get quality. You get beeps and boops and dings and whomps. And thousands of dollars in savings. Everyone's a winner when you dare to compare with Bob's Discount Furniture. Shop in store or at mybobs.com to play now.
Everybody knows it. Toyota trucks are the stuff of legends. Rugged, durable, everlasting. Toyota makes trucks that just don't quit. And now Toyota is driving that legacy toward the future with 2 of their most powerful trucks ever, the new Tundra and the all-new Tacoma. In a half-ton Tundra, you can rule the roads. From the comfort of a spacious cabin with connected tech and plenty of hauling power, the Tundra is ready to work hard and play even harder. Or check out the all-new 24 Tacoma, redesigned and electrified to maximize your adventure. With a bevy of available off-road driving and power transfer modes, you will effortlessly crush the conditions. And with the Tacoma's reimagined interior, you'll do it in style. And right now, your local Toyota dealer has more vehicles in stock and is making delivery on new vehicles almost every day. So don't wait. Buy a Tundra or Tacoma today. Visit buyatoyota.com for deals and more. Toyota, let's go places.
Hey, fantasy football owners. The road to winning your fantasy football championship starts now. I'm Matt Harmon from Reception Perception. Join me and James Coe as we take a deep dive into the position that's going to make or break your fantasy roster. Wide receivers. We analyze route running, target share, and all the metrics that matter, giving you the insights you need to draft the best wide receivers. As you prep for your draft, let us give you the coverage you need. Follow and listen to Reception Perception on the free Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.